Hey players, welcome back for another video. Today I'll be giving you all the information you need to know on MLB The Show 23 before you either pass on it or hit a home run and purchase it. So guys, without further ado, let's hop on the field, shall we? Miami Marlins player Jazz Chisholm Jr. is featured as the cover star, while the captain edition of the game will feature retired New York Yankees player Derek Jeter. On the defense side, high fielding attribute matters now more than ever before. The disparity between players in-game with high versus low fielding attribute is more noticeable. Players with a low fielding attribute react slower to contact made off the bat compared to players with a high fielding attribute. When it comes to the throwing interfaces, they have a couple to select from depending on player skill and engagement level. The more player-friendly interfaces, buttons, and analog rely heavily on the arm accuracy attribute, which has been tuned to be in line with MLB statistics. Elevate your game with button accuracy meter where you are in complete control of your throws. I'm about to upgrade that arm accuracy attribute to the max. Like that's gonna be the attribute I'm gonna be the most focused on. If using button accuracy throwing interface consistent with the last year's game, the green portion of the meter indicates a throw that will be accurate to the fielder. Scales based on the arm accuracy attribute. However, the functionality of the meter has changed. Universally, the speed of the meter needle is slower than in years past. This is intended as it will help to facilitate the upcoming changes. In the previous years of the show, the meter was consistent, meaning the green spot was always in the middle. Repetition with this mechanic led to ease of use for many players. Now on difficult infield plays and long outfield throws, the green portion of the meter will dynamically move. This change increases realism while also adding an additional skill to defense. Guys, all these features that comes with MLB, it's just crazy how much the MLB franchise will get upgraded as these features keep on coming. Like, it's crazy. On forced throws to first base, players will experience a yellow portion on the meter. This section indicates the dirt ball region of the meter, leading to balls being thrown in the dirt. The frequency of the play being made is based on the first baseman's fielding attribute. Visit custom practice to experience and perfect the changes to fielding and throwing. You don't want to get that yellow meter, guys. That meter's deadly. Two new quirks have been added / revamped on defense. These two quirks are break outlier and pickoff artist. A pitcher with break outlier loses break at a slower rate than those without the quirk. A pitcher with pickoff artist leads to 2 times the chance of a successful pickoff. I'll probably go with pickoff artist because that 2 times the chance makes a big difference. Alright guys, we've seen the defense side of things. Now it's time to look at the offense. The pitcher's batter dynamic is better than ever with the revamped competitive gameplay engine. And don't worry casual or simulation fans, they've got you covered. They've also tuned and balanced those gameplay styles as well. One of the major attribute updates to MLB TS23 is they have redefined the clutch attribute. With runners in scoring position, clutch attribute directly replaces contact. This helps to facilitate more realism. The more realism, the better, right guys? Anyways, the battle between a batter's contact attribute and a pitcher's hits per 9 innings attribute is directly replaced with the batter clutch and pitcher clutch with RISP. 2 new quirks have been added on offense. These are bad ball hitter and table setter. A batter with bad ball hitter will excel at hitting pitches outside of the strike zone. A batter with table setter excels with no runners on base. Now guys, that wraps it up for offense, and now it's time to move on to animations. But guys, I bet you're wondering, but what? How did you give us so much defensive information but not enough offensive information? Well, that's because they did more updates to the defensive side of things in this game than with the offensive side. They have added over 5,000 gameplay animations to MLB The Show 23. Guys, props to the developers for adding 5,000, that's a lot. I can't wait to see these animations in action. They have hundreds of new animations ranging from raw foul ball, dives, hot shot variety at the corners, and as always, animations for urgency and efficiency. Next up, gameplay styles. Gameplay styles are meant to create unique experiences for all players out there. Gameplay styles turning for casual and simulation are continuously taking place. However, the biggest gameplay style change revolves around competitive gameplay styles. Guys, this might be one of the best parts about this game. You get to choose your own style, which means for endless possibilities of gameplay. Competitive gameplay style is the default of all online head-to-head games and all Diamond Dynasty modes. Competitive gameplay style can also be accessed by visiting the gameplay settings and toggling the gameplay style setting under general difficulty. The goal of this gameplay style is to increase the consistency of good input for producing good results and bad input for producing bad results. Without going too far from baseball strategy and basics, players will notice more swing and misses, fewer pop-ups and choppers, and hits put into play are slightly better to make up for fewer being put into the play. Player clarity, visual updates in-game, and functionality improvements. Updates to the in-game displays have been made. The largest focus for visual display updates revolved around increasing clarity amongst the player base. It's the small things that matter, right guys? Swing feedback is a piece of art that appears in the bottom left corner of the screen after a swing attempt is made. This feedback displays better attributes: pitch location, pitch type, swing timing, and plate coverage indicator placement. It is meant to help describe the outcome of the hit. Although it is difficult to achieve perfection through this art, strides were made to increase precision and accuracy of the art. Previous versions of MLBTS swing feedback displayed swing inputs on the left and displayed the outputs on the right. Now the swing feedback is a story that can be read from left to right, top to bottom. In-game D-pad functionality. Left on the directional buttons now display live up-to-date StatCast numbers. Right on the directional buttons now display important pitcher-batter matchups, intending to present all factors that impact the at-bat. Which, guys, I think that's extremely important because it's good to know all the information as physically possible before you start the play. This includes vital attributes that dynamically swap in and all active quirks. Up on the directional buttons remain relatively consistent to previous years of MLBTS with slight functionality updates, including the ability to bring in a pitcher that's being warmed up without needing to navigate back into the bullpen. Settings, terminology, organization, and descriptions have been updated to better inform players as for what each gameplay setting does. There are now 2 settings that allow for increased customization of pre-pitch displays while on offense and defense. These new settings can be found under display and aim to allow for increased control over what information is presented on screen prior to a pitch being thrown. These 2 settings are pitch select displays and better controls display. Now guys, I think these settings are really important and are huge changes for people that are new to the MLB franchise and have to know what control does what so they can master their craft and enjoy the game even more. Here are some additional visual updates. The runner windows displayed in the top right for a first base runner and top left for a third base runner no longer appear. This camera can now be seen in the top right base running diamond during pre-pitch. Logic is tied to which runner is shown in the camera, leading to the most viable runner displaying based on the bases currently occupied. Now that the space has been created in the top left corner of the screen, important information can be displayed here, such as the road to the show, base gains, increase or decrease, movement tracking, and dynamic difficulty updates. The developers have added some important functionality to custom practice. It now has a couple of important additions. While batting players now can fine-tune specific pitch locations around the strike zone. This tool is very useful for improving your eye and improving at specific problem areas. In previous years, players could solely turn specific pitches on or off. This functionality has been expanded upon, allowing players to choose the frequency of pitches thrown through a slider mechanism. Here are the attribute descriptions. MLB The Show has a lot of attributes, and if you're new to the franchise, you might not know what they all mean. I know I'm new to the franchise. Let me know down below if you guys are new as well. Be sure to check out the handbook strategy guide located in the pause menu in-game. The attribute descriptions can now also be found in the Diamond Dynasty handbook. These descriptions provide insightful information as for how each attribute functions and interacts with the gameplay. The goal here is to ensure all players have the information needed to make the best possible decision when forming a squad or making an important decision in-game. They've removed passive quirks from MLB The Show 23. Simplifying the quirk system seemed to be the best approach, as there was general confusion as for what active quirks did versus passive quirks. Universally, they've hoped this change leads to more clarity since the only quirks that impact the general gameplay is displayed. The Options Explorer audio and art has been updated. This is a great area for players to learn the mechanics offered within MLB The Show. The general rule of thumb for gameplay mechanics is that the more control a player has over the mechanic, the less ability the CPU has to influence gameplay. Now guys, here we made it to the good stuff. Online head-to-head / co-op. Improvements to online stability are continuously being worked on to provide the best experience possible. For those co-op players, Play Now Co-op now offers the ability to toggle the rotational patterns prior to loading into the game. Rather than being locked into rotating roles per innings on defense and rotating per at bat on offense, teams can now choose additional rotation patterns. So guys, that's the end of the ball game. Please let me know down below what features are you most excited for. There's definitely lots of features in this game, so I'm really excited. And let me know what's your favorite baseball team down below. So guys, I'll see you all on the field. Peace out. You better get your team ready. I'll be waiting.
Gaze is all I see.